Let's put the focus now what happens next. Sheikh Hasina, of course, has been awarded the death sentence for, in fact, her role. And this is based on a tribunal that was set up to look into what happened in 2024 that ultimately led to her ouster. Bangladesh could push for extradition through treaty. They've already issued a statement to that effect, but they could then tell India that, look, because we have an extradition treaty between India and Bangladesh, you have to hand her over. But ultimately, it's the Indian government that can take a call on Hasina's extradition. It's not mandatory for Sheikh Hasina to be handed over. And one of the top issues that will be raised is that the decision has been taken by an unelected regime. That, in a way, could be a protective factor for Sheikh Hasina. She could choose to and remain in Delhi because of the fact that the government, the Indian government, could say, look, we don't have to abide by this decision because an unelected regime is currently in Bangladesh. So Sheikh Hasina remains safe as long as she stays outside Bangladesh. If she's extradited by any course that happens, then she will face the death sentence that's been handed to her. And so her game plan is going to be simple, to ensure that no matter what, she stays put in the national capital or perhaps goes to some other country where there's no extradition treaty with Bangladesh. Let's run you through what's happened in the last few hours. This is the International Crimes Tribunal that sentenced Sheikh Hasina to death. Now, they've said this is for crimes against humanity over her government's rather violent crackdown on student-led protests last year. The court held that Hasina knew about the firing on students and used legal weapons against protesters, calling it a grave violation of human rights. Now, right after this, Sheikh Hasina, speaking to India Today, said this was a rigged verdict. Let's get you all of those details.
Dhaka is erupting again. Streets packed with protesters, police in full gear, and a capital bracing for unrest. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal on Monday sentenced Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death for the crackdown she ordered on student protesters in 2024 that led to the loss of many lives. As the verdict was read out, the courtroom erupted with claps, cheers. The tribunal found Hasina guilty of crimes against humanity, including conspiracy to commit mass killings. The tribunal held that the former Prime Minister knowingly authorized a brutal state crackdown. The court ordered death sentence on the charge of Hasina ordering to kill protesters and on the charge of Hasina's failure to prevent atrocities.
She committed the same crime, that is the crime against humanity, on another count for causing the killings at Ashulia of Sabar, killing of 6 persons. For all these 3 counts, we have decided to inflict her with only one sentence, that is sentence of death.
And while the courtroom celebrated, outside members of her party, Awami League, took to the streets, protesting the judgment, calling it judicial assassination and warning of a dark precedent. With tensions climbing, Dhaka is now under an unprecedented security blanket. Sheikh Hasina is currently in India, where she has taken asylum, at a time when her country finds itself at crossroads. Reacting to the verdict, ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina called the ruling biased, politically motivated, and issued by a rigged tribunal with no democratic mandate. The Awami League will not be allowed to participate as they are barred from any kind of elections. A death sentence handed down, a party barred, a nation unsettled. Bangladesh's political future now hangs in the balance. Bureau Report, India Today.